All right, hello guys. So this is for week 9. I'm actually going to be talking about AI coding assistants. To get things started, well, I'm going to introduce myself, which I am Adrian Flores Aquino, and this is for my class CS 4540. Ignore 450, it's a typo, but this is pretty much for my class called Learning Agents in Learning Environments. And yeah, I'm gonna just talk about AI coding assistants and how they can be useful and how they are used in current times. So, if you guys haven't really heard of what AI coding is or AI coding assistants are, it pretty much is a tool that helps generate and improve code using machine learning models like GPT. This is pretty much essential to software development, while currently right now during this time, due to the fact that it reduces repetitive tasks, it speeds up debugging, and it improves code accuracy. Some examples of tools are Cursor, GitHub Copilot, Windsurf, Replit, Ghostwriter, Aid, and some other AI coding assistants. And the reason why I say it's essential for software development currently right now is because this is pretty much what is trending at the moment with all the new companies creating all these assistants, pretty much just to lend a hand to software developers, but also for computer science students. I do not condone using it to actually be able to just make it generate code for you. I prefer to actually learn and actually, learning the process step by step into fully understanding your code instead of just making someone to write it. But this is for people who are already working in the market and just need a little help with just reducing repetitive tasks. They could just tell the assistant to write what they already know for them, and it makes the work a lot more easier. So one assistant that I do want to talk about is GitHub Copiloter or Copilot. This is actually assistant that combines with VS Code, so you could pretty much use both of them together, which is actually very useful. And if you guys don't really know what VS Code is, it's a short name for Virtual Studio Code or Visual Studio Code. And the good thing about this is that it's lightweight, customizable, and it's maintained by Microsoft. From my experience and for what I noticed is that this is actually the most preferred to most people, due to the fact that you could actually customize it to however you like, whether it's appearance wise, add-ons that you like, or any other thing that you like to get on it. It's very straightforward into installing it and actually using it. And when it comes to GitHub Copilot, it actually gives a real-time code completion, suggestions, and doc generation using GPT models. So Copilot could pretty much turn comments into code, find bugs, and generate repetitive code structure. So instead of always having to type the same things over and over, it'll actually do it for you. And like I said before, Copilot is a combination with VS Code, and it offers a much more stronger AI integration compared to just a regular regular application such as PyCharm. Sorry about that. And another thing I do want to talk about is Windsurf Vision. I will be showing an example of how this is used because I do have it installed and it was actually very interesting in knowing how it actually could help with other things that you do want to work on. So the thing about Windsurf is that it focuses on real-time AI collaboration and code improvement. It's created for teams needing fast iterations and clear code. So for if you're working with a team and you might be running into troubles or need a little help or advice into how you could actually improve something or write something, OneServe does the exact same thing. You just type it into regular language. By this, I mean just in English, you give it a prompt saying like, how would I create this specific situation, and it'll actually help. One thing I did notice is that it's not always as accurate, so you can't really rely on this 100%. Uh, because every time you do tell it to help you out with something, there is a chance that it fully might work, and there is a chance that it only implemented half of what you asked it, and you might have to do a little debugging yourself, or you could just keep asking it over and over until it eventually fixes itself. The good thing about this is that it's tailored for modern development workflows. Like I was saying before, it's used currently a lot. during these times, and it integrates Git, tests frameworks, and it offers refactoring help. Uh, it could also help with debugging tips, code optimization suggestions, and natural language Q&A. Like I was saying before, you could just tell it in English, saying, write this for me, or how could I improve this certain thing, and it'll fully understand it instead of just having to use a different form of communication. Another thing I do want to talk about is Cursor AI. This is similar to the previous AI assistants that I mentioned, but with this, it was actually made from the ground up to be an AI assistant with memory and conversation context. So the good thing about this is that it's seamless prompt-based assistance and context awareness, so it could be very helpful with those. And it could also answer questions like, what does this code do across different files? So it doesn't just only work with one file, it could work across your whole repo, right? And the good thing about this is that it supports multi-file context and error analysis, and it actually understands your entire repo, like I said before, and it could edit multiple files at once. Depending on what you ask it to do, it will adjust those corresponding files. So the main thing about this is that you have to really explain yourself and talk in detail when giving it a prompt. So let's say you do have an issue with a certain file, right? But that file is actually depends on some other classes that you have in other files. So you have to be very specific on what you want to fix because if you're not, then the assistant wouldn't really be 100% sure. So that's why I say sometimes it's 50-50 whether whatever you ask it, it works properly or sometimes it doesn't even work right, and you have to fix it yourself. And the good thing about this is that it actually feels like ChatGPT is inside your editor. So that's a good thing about it. And yeah, so that's it for a little introduction to AI coding assistants. There's obviously much more coding assistants like Aid, Repli Ghostwriter, and some other ones, but I couldn't go into detail with these. Um, if I was to rank all of these, I can't really say for sure, but Windsurf is very helpful when it comes to using it. So I think it's all depending on personal preference. So yeah, let me just start up Windsurf and show you guys how it would be used or how it could be used. When using Windsurf, I actually uh downloaded it and told it to create a snake game, which was very interesting. So once you start up, once you start up Windsurf, this is already what it has, what it generated. Actually, none of this is actually created by me. This is all what was made with the assistant, which is actually very cool to see how it works. So just give it some time. I believe usually, oh no, here you go. Like here you go. So here you could just ask it, um, startup. Okay. I don't know why it's popping this up. So let's just put keep changes. Start up the snake game. So I'm gonna just tell it to start up the snake game, right? Okay, I guess apparently I have to pay for it. But my point is that from my previous things that I told it, so let's say if I could find one. So I ask it, right, what else can you change for the snake game, right? And this is just English, right? So you don't really have to use any other language or any type of communication, which is a very good thing about this. And as you can see, this thing is literally right next to your code, right? So if you're, let's say you're typing your code, you actually want to fix um the color, right? Like, oh, I want to change it to this. I want to change it to red. And then let's say, for example, this line doesn't work, right? You could literally tell it like, oh, why doesn't line 22 in game.js not work and how can it be improved? And when you type that in, it will give you um like tips on how you could improve it, or it will pretty much just automatically fix it for you, you know? So right here, say what else can you change? It could change the types of food. It could be added onto the snake game, add power-ups, obstacles, And then so I tell it, okay, add particle effects when collecting food and grid lines to the game area. So that's a cool thing about it. And it actually did add it, right? So once you tell it to do it, it will edit the files. As you can see, it edited the JavaScript game file. It actually runs commands in your terminal. So that's very useful. You don't really have to do anything yourself. And then it would ask for confirmation whether it's looking fine, and it'll actually run uh the code on a server. And you could pretty much display it. As you can see right here, I actually tell it like an error that I had. So when the snake eats a banana, can you change the snake so that every time it eats a banana, the head switches to the tail's positions every time? And it does do it, but I believe it messes up the game. So I did tell it to fix it. When the snake reverses directions, the key inputs are not accurate anymore, and then it tells you it will fix the actual logic for it, which is actually very useful. But in terms of this, it's not always gonna work in one try. You do have to keep working, talking to it, and actually improving the code and the assistant itself. But yeah, it's actually something very cool that you could actually try out yourself. Um, you know, yeah, not only with snake games, but with just regular code, you could actually import it to this, and it could be very helpful. And yeah, this was just an example of coding assistance. And yeah, thank you for your time.